Hey guys, welcome back or welcome to my channel. If you are new, welcome. My name is Chris. It is the end of the year and I like to do best of and worst of. And today are my worst blind buys of 2024. Even though these didn't work out for me, the list wasn't horrible. But first things first, if you are new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for clicking on that thumbnail. If you are a repeat viewer and you haven't yet subscribed, I would love it if you would just consider joining my YouTube family and hit the subscribe button. And if you got anything out of this video and you like more content like this, let me know with a thumbs up and a comment below. And with that, I'm gonna get started. So I've got a little list in front of me because all of the fragrances that I will be talking about have now found new homes. I'm going to start out the list with 2 incense fragrances. Listen, I love incense, and I got to a point where I thought basically all incense fragrances were for me because I love so many of them, and I found 2 last year that just were not for me. The first one was from Le Liquid Imaginaire, and it is called Lacrima. And boy, I thought I was gonna love that fragrance. As soon as I knew I was going to be decluttering these fragrances, I made a nice little list and the reasons why, because I knew I was going to be making this video at the end of the year. So Lacrima is an incense fragrance. I was so looking forward to it. The note seemed very, very safe. I think there was elemi. I love elemi resins. I love, of course, incense, woods. But what I got out of this fragrance, instead of a beautiful churchy incense, I got basically a church that had to be evacuated because of mold and mildew infestation that subsequently burned down. It was a church that was very old and mildewy and then burned to the ground. And I really tried my hardest to get on board with it, but it just wasn't working out. So that one had to go. The next one was by the House of Eldo, and it is Rien, the original, not the intense. I haven't smelled that one yet. But anyways, for Rien, it was very, very animalic. It was animalic. It wasn't a lovely, soft church incense. It was leathery, funky, animalic with a little bit of incense in the background. Very harsh, very masculine, very unappealing. So that one found a new home. The next one wasn't terrible, and one of the main reasons I got it because the bottle's just so darn cute, and I'll put a picture up. And also, I'm kind of obsessed with the note of whipped cream. So if there is whipped cream in a fragrance, I'm probably going to buy it. So this was Nina Soleil, and this had notes of whipped cream and vanilla and some florals. I thought I was gonna get a floral gourmand with emphasis on the gourmand, and what it turned out to be was a very shampoo-y scent. I got no vanilla and I could not find the whipped cream anywhere in that fragrance. I will say that those bottles are stinking cute and I almost kept it for the bottle, but in the end, it just wasn't for me and I ended up letting that one go. The next 2 are from the Merchant of Venice, and I bought these fragrances because the notes sounded really good. And also the bottles were just so pretty. They almost look like beautiful Chinese vases. So the first one I purchased was Blue Tea, and that one sounded like it would be right up my alley. I think it had, like, obviously it had tea and some florals, maybe some woods in the background. And it was a very, very bitter fragrance. And I looked up the notes again and noticed that either mate or matcha was in there. Those are very tricky notes for me because oftentimes it makes a fragrance bitter, and it just made this lovely fragrance bitter and I couldn't do it. So that one had to go. Okay, so the next one was Goya Cura, and I will say that is a lovely fragrance. I thought it was very, very nice. It smelled like unsweetened peach tea with some floral. And why did I not like it? Okay, I said it was a little too shampoo-y for me. So the florals came off a little bit shampoo-y. A little bit of that shampoo-y vibe is fine by me. Too much doesn't jive with my taste. So in the end, I had to let that one go. So the next one is by the House of Kajal. This might be a surprise. It was Almaz. The packaging on those fragrances is absolutely stunning. And this one was no exception. And I really, really wanted to love that fragrance. Raspberry, black currant, I think there was vanilla in there. And I blind bought it because I heard someone say that it smelled like a raspberry ice cream or a black currant ice cream, very desserty. And when I got my bottle, I just didn't get that. I got something very musky and very, very synthetic. It was just kind of a chemical overload to me, and all I got was musk. I don't mind musk. Musk is nice, but it just wasn't what I was looking for in that particular fragrance. So that one had to go. The next one I purchased is because I found it at a good deal on Joma Shop. I love Cedrus. I love Vanilla Planifolia. Those are gorgeous scents. So I went ahead and purchased Papyrus, and I actually love the note of Papyrus. I think it's a great note. It can be very woody, very earthy, green, sometimes spicy. And I love it when it's paired with sandalwood. I can't tell you why I didn't like this fragrance, but I knew it was an immediate pass on to the next person. I think it was just too masculine, too earthy. There was something about it that just was overtly masculine, and I don't mind masculine fragrances. I wear them all the time. It just was a no for me. Maybe it was just too herbal and aromatic, but that one went goodbye. One of the worst blind buys, because I bought this right when it came out. It was very, very expensive, and I thought it was going to be a shoo-in. It had all the notes I love. Was 1970 by Rosendo Matu. Again, I thought this was going to be a shoo-in. Had all the notes I love. Chocolate, tonka, vanilla, spices, citruses. I mean, what's not to love? I know it was a legit fragrance because I got it from a very well-known fragrance store, ZGO Perfumery in San Francisco. And oh my gosh, all I got was cumin. And if you know me, you know cumin is my fragrant note nemesis. I can't stand it. It smells like BO. That's almost all I got. It completely took over the scent. It took over the chocolate. It took over the lemon. It took over the woods. It took over the cinnamon. I mean, that's all I got. I got cumin, a little bit of lemongrass, and some tobacco. So I'm super jealous if it worked out for you, but on my body chemistry, it was just a nightmare. So the next one is Strawberry Letter by Fleur, and that fragrance house is just, I know I'm going to ruffle some feathers, but I think they're just a little bit too expensive for what they are. And I got major FOMO with Strawberry Letter, and I purchased it, and it's a nice fragrance, don't get me wrong. It just, to me, smelled like, and it was sold out everywhere. Man, I paid top dollar with shipping. I got a combination of strawberry shampoo and unsweetened strawberry jelly, and the performance was like that of a body spray. So at $100, I just thought, nah, I'm gonna move that along. Now, speaking of FOMO, I purchased Quattro Pizzi when it showed up at fragrancebuy.ca, like at a tremendous discount almost immediately after it released, and I snapped it right up. And as soon as I got it, I sprayed it, and I thought, this is a lovely, lovely fragrance. It just smells way too similar to Rouge Malachite by Giorgio Armani, and I already have that one. You know, we can go back and forth whether or not it smells like it or not. I'm telling you, that is the first thing I thought of. It's Rouge Malachite with a little bit of coconut and a little bit of tobacco, and those are the differences. And I felt like there was just way too much overlap to have them both, so that one I moved along. And again, it's not that it was a terrible scent, it just, there was just too much overlap. It was too redundant for what I already own. And I'm working to kind of consolidate my fragrances rather than continuously expand. Listen, I know I'm a content creator. I'm always going to be trying fragrances and testing new fragrances and purchasing new fragrances. But the goal is to eventually move this way, not this way. And I am moving this way. It's just taking a lot longer than I anticipated. The next one is from the Elevated line from Giorgio Armani, and I bought Bleu Lazuli, and it was my last purchase from Selfridges. I used to be on that. I was a member, and if you pay like $100, you get worldwide shipping for a year covered. And then all of a sudden they decided to tack on all these fees. So that was a little sketch when they did that, and I haven't bought anything since. But that one was like a honey, tobacco, fruity, plum fragrance. And what did I get? Okay, it says I got bitter tobacco, no honey, no sweetness. Ah, there again, there was the mate note, bitter. I'm telling you, I need to really second guess myself when I'm thinking about getting a fragrance with that note. So the sourness, the bitterness in that destroyed it. And oh my goodness, I'm almost through my list. The next one was a fragrance that wasn't necessarily a blind buy. I got the all over, you know, body wash, and I love it. Two from Molten Brown. It's a recharged black pepper and fiery pink pepper. And even though I love both of those, you know, body washes, I thought I would love both of those fragrances. The fiery pink pepper was a big yes, and I got that in the Eau de Toilette. The recharge was a big no. And in fairness, it does smell a lot like the, you know, the body wash, but in fragrance form, it was way, way too masculine. Obviously, a lot of spices, but it just had this overt barbershop masculine vibe that just wasn't me. It was a very, very masculine, and I ended up passing that along to Mr. Pat, and he actually enjoys it, so that didn't need to leave the house. It just needed to leave my collection. And the last one I'm going to talk about is from Alexander J. I saw this one particular fragrance over on Joma Shop, and it was a steal. Those, you know, the packaging, the bottles on those is absolutely stunning. And I looked at the notes, I thought, this might be a fragrance for Chris. Saffron, patchouli, woods. I think it might have had incense in it as well, but oh my gosh, that just was not for me. It was very earthy, very bitter, very medicinal, very herbal. And I can't tell you what it was. Maybe the saffron didn't mix with my skin chemistry. It had galbanum, which can be green and can be bitter. But, and I put herbal, medicinal, and bitter. So that one found a new home, but it took a while. So that was it, my most unfortunate blind buys for 2024. Not too bad. I'm looking to make the list even smaller for the year 2025. Listen, if I talked about a fragrance that you absolutely love, don't get your feelings hurt. Listen, it's only fragrant water and we're here to have fun. Let us all know down below what were some of your worst disastrous blind purchases or otherwise in the comments below. Thanks again for sticking around. Thanks for watching. Thanks for everybody who always shows up, gives me love, subscribes to my channel, gives me a like and a comment below. And with that, I will see you on the best blind buys of 2024.